Hi Gemini, welcome back to the Astrology 33 channel. This is your July 2026 tarot reading. Thank you to those of you who have liked, viewed, shared, and subscribed to the channel. I appreciate all of that. For those of you new to the channel, source over here in front of us, it's a 12 card spread with each card representing a different house of the zodiac. Starting with your sign, Gemini is the first house, all the way through to Taurus representing the 12th house. And when we get through that, we'll actually pull an oracle card as well with some additional insight. As far as the decks being used this month, for the main tarot deck, we have the Guardian of the Night Tarot, and for the Oracle deck, we'll be using the Spirit Animal Oracle. But we're actually going to start the reading off by rolling some astrology dice to get an idea where your focus should be as far as that goes. Alright, we have 10. So 10th house energy generally points to career and social status. And for you guys, 10th house is actually Pisces. Astrologically speaking, we have had the North Node in there for about the past year and a half. And the North Node will actually be moving out of Pisces on the 26th of July. Other than that, it's a little quiet in that area of the zodiac. But yeah, at the very least, could just be saying you might have gone through some growth and changes in that area of life over that time. Alright, well, we have your sign. So yeah, could just be saying that you guys have a little bit more focus on yourselves this month. But beyond that, I will say the time I'm recording this, we haven't had Mars arrive in your sign just yet. But it will be in your sign on the 28th of June, and then it'll be there all throughout July. Of course, we have Uranus in your sign as well. So definitely some significant energy going on in your sign as well. And we have the South Node. So the South Node is still in Virgo, which is your 4th house of home roots family. And on the 26th, it'll be moving out of Virgo into Leo. So basically moving out of your 4th house and moving into your 3rd house of communication, short journey, siblings. So we'll keep that in mind as we go through the main spread. So for the 1st house, which generally points to personality, self-awareness, and appearance, we have the Knight of Cups. So yeah, this could just be saying that this month you might come across a bit more charming than usual. I feel like this is saying you're going to take a light, playful approach to things as well. You're going to be very open toward people with your communication, and just, yeah, taking a bit more of a laid-back energy overall, which is a positive. For your 2nd house energy, pointing to possession, self-worth, and finances, we have the 3 of Wands. So this is Aries energy here. And yeah, to me, this says that you're just going to have a little faith and lean on the work that you've done to this point to continue to provide for you at this time. So I feel like this is saying you're not necessarily going to be running around seeking out new opportunities. I feel like this is just saying you're relying on the work you've done to sustain you for the time being. For your 3rd house of communications, short journeys, and siblings, we have Judgment. So I will say, of course, we'll have Mercury retrograde. You guys are ruled by Mercury, so the Mercury retrograde starts on the 29th in Cancer, which is your 2nd house, and then on the 23rd of July is when the direct cycle begins there. So, for the next few weeks, roughly, we'll be dealing with the retrograde energy, and this could just be pointing primarily to why we're seeing the Judgment energy come about. Could just be saying that people from your past might be returning. You might be revisiting conversations from the past as well. And here with this artwork, we see a snake shedding its skin. So maybe something that might not have been a good fit in the past, maybe now it will be in the present. All right, so for your 4th house energy, we have the Moon. So yeah, so 4th house pointing to home roots and family. To see the seer could just be saying that within your home environment, you might feel like things are a little undefined, right? You might feel like you want to change things up a little bit, but not knowing where to start at the same time, right? When it comes to communication with your family as well, right? You might feel like there's a little bit of a lack of clarity as far as that goes, so you might want to make sure you revisit those things to make sure that there's clarity on both sides of the equation when it comes to those communications. But overall, yeah, I feel like this is more of having a lot on your mind around this area, but not knowing where to begin. That's primarily what I'm getting. All right, so for your fifth house energy, which points to romance, creativity, and children, we have the Hermit. So yeah, so this could just be saying that maybe you're doing a bit of a deep dive around that area of life, right? So if there's a creative project that maybe you were working on at one point, so that could be part of what this judgment energy is about too, right? We see the cobwebs there, maybe something that you'd abandoned for a while. You could be revisiting that now. Um, Maybe even just how you approach those things too, right? You could be looking at that again and seeing like, okay, is there a better way I could tackle these kinds of things? Whether it be, like we mentioned, creative projects or even just how you approach your romantic lives as well. All right, so for your sixth house energy, pointing to health, work, and daily routines, we have the Fool. So yeah, so maybe this is saying you're going to be a bit more adventurous in that area of life, right? Maybe taking a bit of a chance around something, taking a slightly different approach that you hadn't taken up to this point, and seeing what the results would be there. So a bit more of an experimental energy. All right, so for the seventh house of partnerships, contracts, and relationships, we have Ace of Cups. So yeah, at the very least, this looks like there's a desire on your part to start a new connection. So with the ace energies, there's no guarantee that that desire would be acted on, but at the very least, it looks like something that's on your mind. And again, if that is tied to the judgment energy there, then yeah, it could be someone from your past coming back around and having another opportunity to get things moving in the right direction. All right, so for your eighth house energy, which points to death, rebirth, intimacy, and investments, we have the Nine of Cups. So if this is taking on more of the financial investment angle of things, seeing the Three of Wands there does support seeing this as far as why you're in that position, right? Where you're like, oh, I don't really have to rush out and seek after every opportunity that might cross my path because I'm already in a pretty solid position right now, right? And for others of you, if this is around more of like the intimate side of things too, given that we see the Ace of Cups there and then seeing the Knight of Cups in your first house, could be pointing to some expansion as far as that goes as well, and contentment around it. All right, so for your ninth house energy, which points to philosophy, higher learning, and foreign affairs, we have the Star. So this actually is Aquarius energy, which is your natural ninth house. So we do see the match there. And then this could just be pointing to, like we mentioned, the fact that the North Node will be moving into Aquarius toward the end of the month. So that could be actually something that helps you. What I'm getting from this more than anything could be like more like restore faith. So maybe if there is beliefs that you did hold at one point, but for whatever reason, maybe through experiences you went through since that point, you might have lost a little bit of faith that those were beliefs that truly fit the reality. Now you might actually start to see indicators that, well, maybe you shed that belief a little bit too soon, right? Because now you're seeing proof play out in the reality that, yeah, maybe those beliefs were correct all along. All right, so for your 10th house energy of career and social status, we have the Two of Cups. So this is Cancerian energy here. So, yeah, what I'm getting with this more than anything just appears to be like a meeting of the minds, right? So maybe you're partnering up with someone. Maybe that was part of what that Fool energy was, right? Or maybe like, you know what, let me take a chance and see if I can partner up with this person for a work opportunity. Things along those lines there, but looks like there's a meeting of the minds. Looks like you're seeing eye to eye with each other, which are definitely some good qualities to have in that area of life. Well, pretty much any area of life, but yeah, that's what I'm seeing with that. And for your 11th house energy, which points to friendships, groups, hopes, and wishes, we have the Eight of Pentacles. So this is Virgo energy here, and looking at the artwork there, we see the hive, right? So this could just be saying collectively, right? Everyone's bringing their skill sets to the table for the betterment of all, right? So it could just be one of those things where it could just be saying you're exchanging ideas with each other, maybe sharing knowledge, right? Like, oh, this could be helpful for these people, right? That might not know it yet, and then they maybe could teach me something that I don't know that I could put to use in my life. So it could just be one of those things. I'm getting definite energy of community with a purpose there. All right, and for your 12th house energy, pointing to mental health, blind spot, spirituality, we have the Page of Swords. So what I'm getting with this more than anything could just be saying there could be a lot on your mind, but just trying to figure out what to say versus what to keep to yourselves for the time being. So that could be what you're giving a lot of thought to this month, right? Which goes along with the Mercury retrograde energy, right? That's ideally that would be the way that you want to navigate that energy anyway, right? So just give things a second thought. Let's see, like, what you might think in your head sounds like a perfectly coherent message. Once it leaves your lips, it might be interpreted totally differently, right? So I feel like this is just saying you're being a little bit more measured there, right? Just giving some thought to what you communicate and how you communicate it this month. All right, and bottom of the deck we have the Hanged Man. So yeah, so I feel like this is saying that in some ways, you might feel like there is this energy of change beneath the surface, right? And I feel like this is saying that to go along with that, you're not necessarily pushing anything, right? You're like, okay, I'm going to ride this wave, and when the time is right, I'll act at that point. All right, well, we'll see what the Oracle card adds to the mix. So I'll just give this a few shuffles, then we'll cut the deck and pull a card. All right, I'll take this card here, get this out of the way, and we'll see what you got. All right, we have Pig Spirit, and it says use your mind wisely. There's the artwork, and the number is 47. So we'll see what this has to say. All right, the Oracle message says, Pig Spirit appears to remind you of the right use of intelligence, a gift we all have that is meant to be used with love, compassion, and discernment. Intelligence means recognizing the value of intuition partnered with smarts and common sense, which leads to intelligent solutions. When Pig Spirit appears, you are called to respect your analytical mind and use it for the highest good, recognizing that all facts must be considered, even when they do not fit with what you know already. Spirit blesses us with wisdom when we allow Pig Spirit to nudge us into open-minded, thoughtful dialogues, whether with others or internally, as we mull over our ideas and what we have come to understand. You are intelligent and capable of clear-minded thinking, shaped by the wisdom you have accumulated, and the intuition that will tell you when you have more learning to do, because not all facts are in. Now is the time that your decision-making powers are reliable, for you are in alignment with Pig Spirit's keen intelligence. So yeah, reading that message there definitely seemed to call back to what I was talking about more so with the 11th house energy, right, where you're talking about the spirit of community, and then also, like I mentioned, with the 12th house, right, where maybe you'll be thinking about what you should say versus what to keep to yourselves versus how to communicate what you do ultimately decide to say. So that message seemed to align with that pretty well, and a couple of other energies we mentioned earlier in the reading as well. So yeah, hopefully that resonated with you guys, and we'll wrap up there. All right, bye.